Hello and warm welcome to our webinar today. It's the first webinar of a session of a whole series. So we do have 3 webinars in which will take place. The first one to kick the topic off is today, and the topic is 3 webinars but one mission: automate engineering data exchange. My name's Petra. I'm supporting this webinar from the technical perspective, and I will be the moderator for the Q&A and for the beginning. Before we dive into the topic, a few comments from my side. So the webinar will be recorded, but don't worry, it doesn't apply to you. It's about the speakers and the presentation they share. If you have a question, you have the option to raise your hand and I can unmute your microphone. We would like to do this, to use this functionality during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar, but throughout the webinar, you have the possibility to hand in your questions written. So write down your question. If something comes in your mind while you're listening, hand in the question and we'll pick it up in the Q&A. And if you want to add something to your question, then you still can raise your hand and I can unmute your microphone. One question I can answer right away. So the webinar will be shared, the recording will be shared with you after the session a few days later. All right, so that's all from my side. I'm looking forward to the topics of today and I'll hand over to Olaf. Welcoming to the topic.
Yeah, thanks, Petra. Yeah, maybe we will do first an introduction round. I'm starting with the introduction. So my name is Olaf Schneider. I'm the product manager of COMPDM. I'm in that role since 1 year, and I'm joining the system since 2010, 15 years right now.
And I'm François Forget. I'm the architect of CompDM and also a PLM consultant. Joined T-System 3 years ago, and yeah, I got a lot of experience with migration.
Okay, and the third person you see here is Tim Schmidt. He was foreseen to be here to doing the live demo, but unfortunately he could not join us today. So that's why we skipped the live demo and prepared a video for instead. So you will hear him in the video later on. Okay, then let's see what we will hear today. Here's the agenda. I'm starting with a short introduction about these systems for all of those of you who didn't know us or what we're doing in the PLM area. Then I talk about the data exchange, automation, simple and rapid. Then I'm come to key technicals, commercial benefits. Then we will see a product demo. Afterwards, we are looking to some customers, references, and then partners. And at the end, we are looking to the implementation approach, how we do our projects. Then we have some Q&A session where you can raise your questions. We answer your questions which are coming up during this webinar, and then maybe a last step, some next steps and then further information if required. Okay. Then starting with the introduction of T-Systems. So T-Systems is a 100% subsidiary of Deutsche Telekom. We are the system integrator of Deutsche Telekom and the #1 IT service provider in Germany and the DACH region. We have actually a bit over 28,000 employees around the world, and we are located, of course, in Germany, where we have our headquarter, but also other locations in Europe like Spain, Hungary, Slovakia. Then we are around the globe in China, in India, North and South America, South Africa, so on. Um, we have our main focuses on IT cloud services, on IT security, sub solutions, and digital solutions. And part of the digital solutions is the PLM, which we are here for today. And in the PLM, we have also own products, and one product which is now the focus for today is the COMPDM. In the PLM field, we have experience of over 30 years with more than 500 PLM experts worldwide. We're serving over 180 international customers around different industries like automotive, aerospace, defense, public health, etc. And with a, um, a big independent partner ecosystems with all renowned PLM vendors, we build it up our products, and we are very flexible and very strong. Okay, then coming to the next slide, data exchange automation from complex, time-consuming to simple, fast. Yeah, the business processes here RFQ, release design data, change design data, and reference design data. And to understand why we developed our product and then in which scenario it is used, it helps if you take a look on the product development process, and these business processes are part of that. So that means that all manufacturers are outsourcing more and more tasks in their product development process to specialized external partners, and maybe these partners as well to other suppliers or partners. So it's becoming increasingly important for partners to have access to the CID and PLM data they need as quickly as possible and reflect changes they made. Normally, the data exchange is done by manually, and becomes a mess, especially for big vendors or tier one suppliers with a lot of partners. It becomes more often complicated because also these partners use not the same PLM system. Instead, they have multiple PLM systems, which they have to deal with. So in many cases, these data exchange of product structure data is still done manually, and now we'll look, and these companies are looking now for solutions which help them to, yeah, to automate and to speed up these data exchange a bit. That brings me to our product, COMPDM, which we want to talk today. COMPDM is designed to connect three worlds: product lifecycle management on one side, computer-aided design systems on the other hand, and the international standard ISO 10303, or called STEP. We have on therefore a lot of connectors for PLM applications, as you can see here, like Aeros Innovator, Windchill, VPM4, Smart Team, or Innovia V6, or called 3D Experience and Team Center. We have, on the other hand, CAD applications like Creo, SolidWorks, CATIA, NX. And we have other modules, as you can see here. For example, as I mentioned before, we are wanted to connect to STEP. Therefore, we have a STEP AB242 or AB214 module. We have an Autodoc module, which creates automatic documentations out of your configuration. we have a cache module. Then we have a legacy module to connect to older systems, which are not that common anymore. And we have as well connectors to maybe a third-party tool like the TrueFusion Enterprise from Rocket Software, and another T-Systems product, the Image Master, which we use for long-term archiving. Okay, let's come then to the use cases of COMPDM. Our prime use case is the data exchange, which we are looking, which we are dealing today with, and beside that, we have two other use cases you can use COMPDM for. The first one is the data migration, where you can migrate data from PLM, from one PLM system to another PLM system with a coexistence phase. And as I mentioned before, by the connectors, another use case is for the long-term archiving, where you have by legal regulations the must to archive your data several years. So for those use cases, COMPDM supports you from very simple to very complex scenarios, and COMPDM helps you by that to automate your processes, manual processes which you have maybe still to ensure the data quality, and a big plus, save time and costs. Okay, then coming to the next slide, where we want to have a look on our selling points and benefits of COMPDM. Beginning with the on the left upper side with the rapid prototyping. That means we have the shortest ramp-up time in markets, so we can very easily set up our software in your environment, where we direct in a short time can configure and work with your own data, and can show you how an import or an export works. Then the automation, we are have an automatic recognition of PLM customizations, CAD environments, where we can do then very easily the mapping between the target and the sources, and this reduces the as well the efforts from maybe weeks for other solutions to hours in our part. We have the fast, efficient configuration. So that means we have a lot of built-in semantics and processing logic inside, powerful standard functionalities, and wizard-driven configuration. And only customer specifics has to be addressed there. Then we have a direct image master interface for the long-term archiving, as I said before. Then the mass data performance, we generate and execute Java code transparently in the background, simultaneously handling of millions of objects on normal hardware, so we don't need much resources, and typically and significantly faster. We are faster than PLM native export and import tools. Then we have a very strong direct team center interface. We have a reconciliation. That means we have a graphical user interface representing of new and current differences, and where you can see how it is imported in your actual structure, and also you can then see what's the difference. It's highlighted, and we import only then the changes. This saves time and also wall space. We have an extensive support from the beginning of your project until, I would say, not the end, but to the long-term use of your project, from consulting, teaching, taking over tasks, monitoring, enhancement, and and so on. Whatever you can think about. We're supporting still Innovia VPM4. This is, and we're one of the last solution providers for that, which is still highly used in aerospace and defense. And the most important thing is that COMPDM, it's a really market proven solution with the experience of more than 25 years. And as I said before, with us, you can save costs, time, and reduce effort. And if we believe our customers, the savings can be up to 80% of your previous costs. Okay, then we're coming to the data exchange file-based. So the challenge here is, as I said before, that part of the product development process becomes more complex and is more and more outsourced to suppliers. In that case, it is essential that partners receive the current development status periodically and report back their updates. And we're starting here from your environment, maybe PLM CAD system, where you have the part structure, the cut structure, BOM structure, with all metadata, attributes, and maybe other information. Then you have to export these data and to store these data on a folder, in a folder or on a store, wherever. And then afterwards, you have to transfer these data manually to your partners. So this, on the other hand, in the second step, this means that this process, manually process, is very often error prone, raises quality issues, takes a lot of time, and results in high costs. And therefore, we invented COMPDM, which will help you to, as I said before, to support you by the data exchange task, making it very easy. Even high complex data mapping processes can be defined very easy and straightforward manner with our rich and web client, and can be implemented directly by you or with our help, with the support of us. COMPDM therefore access PLM system directly and import or export the data according to the defined logic, and takes over the conversion into corresponding target format. Before COMPDM takes over the import of the data into your PLM system, COMPDM shows the differences before, which means that that you as customer can decide individually how you would like to proceed. This was the reconciliation. COMPDM can automatically analyze source data and suggest the initial set of relevant objects, data mapping, and business rules. And afterwards, as you can see here, it's automatically stored. Also, as in the previous slide before, in a folder or in a store, and a pity, we have to transfer the files manually to the customers. But for this, we have to close this gap. We're working together with partners, and as I mentioned before, and here we have one partner, Rocket Software, where we have the possibility to integrate the data exchange monitor to Fusion Enterprise, which helps us to close the gap of the file transfer from you to your partners and back. It protocols the complete transfer and manage also the partners if you have only one partner or multiple partners. Exactly. So that's the highest solution stage of the solution we can offer you. How it works with Rocket Fusion, you can see in one of our next webinars on the 8th of July. There we're talking about COMPDM and True Fusion together with Rocket. So don't miss that webinar. It would also be interesting. Exactly. Okay. Then coming now to a product demo, as I mentioned before. Here we have 5 sections in the demo. You can see that also in the demo. We're starting with the initial COMPDM configurations. So what can you configure where, in which masks? Then import new data with COMPDM. The third step is export data with COMPDM. Then the fourth one is data changed in NX. That's why we use the scenario data exchange out of Teamcenter in combination with NX. But we also support different scenarios. And the last step is import change data with COMPDM. So this is the agenda of our demo. And yeah, then now I would like to head over to the demo.
Hello, this is me, Tim Schmidt, and today I'm going to show you how you can do data exchange with Teamcenter. So first, let's show the agenda. Let's start with the first point. So this is the initial COMPDM configuration. So this is one time, and for this we now start our COMPDM client. The server is already started. I don't need to log in because I'm giving the username and password to the client right away. So now we see the blank screen. So for the initial COMPDM configuration, we will start with views and settings, then continue with representations, and then continue with the methods in the third step. So first we will go to the Teamcenter tab. There we have our Teamcenter connection we have to configure. Here I put in TC and username and password. What is meant by TC? I can explain here with the Manage Teamcenter Servers button here on the right. There is a URL and a session amount. You can also configure downtimes and so on. I can test the connection if it is working, and yes, it looks good. It's working, so certificate and so on. Or set for NX. So we will do data exchange with NX. We will just configure the version. So I will use 2312. And now let's move on to the second button, the representations. So here we can configure what objects COMPDM wants to look at, wants to create. And in Teamcenter, of course, we have the item, the connection, the BOM line between the items. We have the occurrence. So this is where the locations are stored, the transformations. And for NX, it's also clear the UG master. So here the dataset is stored. So now we can go to the item and see which attributes are configured with edit. So we have the ID, the revision, we have a folder. This is where the objects are created. We can configure additional attributes. Important to notice here, in Teamcenter we have item and item revision, and COMPDM creates both and creates also new item revisions if a new revision is imported. You can use attributes from item here and from item revision. Also we have some read-only properties. Let me activate it. For example, the creation date. Okay, but for now it's fine. We will continue. Here's the description I added manually. I think the rest is default. And for the UG master, same thing, but I don't need anything on the UG master for our little demonstration. Okay, so let's go on. To the third button. This is the methods button. Here we have already configured 3 methods. So one is a simple import directly from NX, from disk to Teamcenter, import with renaming, and the export from Teamcenter back to NX. So we see on the left side the source representation, and on the right side the target representation. Here in the middle one we have also an intermediate representation, as I use the speaking name. This is for renaming the NX files. For the export, it's on the left side Teamcenter, on the right side NX. And clicking on the arrow opens the mapping. So here on the left we see different object types. So we have the parts, the links. First, let's go to the parts. There we see how to map the attributes from the right, from the item, to the left, to the NX part. So here I have a drop down. I can select undefined, for example. I can select source, so this will be directly read from Teamcenter, written to NX. Furthermore, I can also use a Java code snippet to implement some specific logic. So this is meant by implementation here. And this is a really great solution for flexible customer needs that can be really complex. And in this case, I will use a string prepend to add to the item ID. For the nomenclature in NX, I will use the name in Teamcenter. For the revision, I will directly take the item revision. The transformation is on the instance. And the file name, I will do the same thing. I will use a prepend so I can rename my files if I want to in the export. So that's it for the export. It's just a simple demo case. And for the import, it's the same thing, just the other way around. So on the right, we now have the next part and want to go to the left or to the Teamcenter item. So here I configured a folder, so COMPDM creates all the new parts in a specific Teamcenter folder. I can show you this in a minute. And then ID is also with the prepend, transformation. Yes, that's it. Orange means it's executable, it's fine. Green means everything is mapped, every attribute. So now let's move on to the next agenda point. Import new data into Teamcenter with COMPDM. So we configure the method. Now we just have to click on the import button. So I mark this one here magenta. Don't miss it. First, select the root assembly, and second, select the method we configured. And here again we see the prepend. Here in this case, demonstration 1 underscore, but you can use whatever prepend you want for your import. It can also be fixed, for example, so you don't have to enter anything at all, or you can leave out this prepend. So this is the flexible way. Now the process monitor opened in the meantime while I was speaking. Here we see all the attributes COMPDM read from NX. So it's the product identifier, the revision. And look, the revision, it's something 001.01. I don't want to import it like this in Teamcenter. I want it with revision A in Teamcenter. Let's abort the current run. So I will go back to methods quickly to see that I can change it. It's on the item and I want a fixed revision for now, and this is the A. Save, and I can close this window again. Let's wait a moment until the window refreshes. Okay, so now I click import again, select my root assembly, the method again. Okay, here at the top we see we have already now the second process running with a lot of information. So who started the run, what was the root assembly, when was it started, how much data is in it. Aborted is purple, and now we see the second process monitor on the left side. It's still 001, but let me switch to Teamcenter view. So this is how it will be imported into Teamcenter. It's not yet imported, so we have the green colors, and this is just a preview, let's say, how it will look in Teamcenter. If I click here on the confirm button, it starts the writing process into Teamcenter. Here now with all the revision A, we see the folders, we see the IDs. So perfect, like we want. And now at the top we see the process bar. What else do we see? On the top right we can, for example, show different object types. We disabled the links for now, so it's a little bit smaller product structure. We just selected the attachments. Okay, that's it. Normal successful end. So this one will be green in the process overview in the main window. So in the next step, I want to look what we imported in Teamcenter. So I will open Active Workspace in the browser. So this is our Teamcenter. Folders, home, and I imported it in COMPDM webinar, and here we see them. Now it's name. I don't know the name of my root assembly, unfortunately. So I will quickly use the search functionality. Let me switch to COMPDM and copy the ID. So double right click will copy the ID, and I will paste it here in the search. And here it is. So I think the preview is still missing because I didn't save it in NX first. I got it without a preview. Okay, but we will see. So date modified, it was just imported. And what else do we want? We don't have a description because our NX had no description. Now I think it's time to open it in NX with the NX integration to see whether the data is fine. Here we have the structure. Zoom out here a little bit. Okay, open NX. We have our file here, click on it. It takes a moment until NX starts up. Here it comes. It's important, we don't want any errors here. We want the right placements. We will have a little car. Yes, there it is. Our little Lego car, let's say. And on the left we see the structure is fine, no load errors. Perfectly like we intended it. Okay, so now regarding the data exchange, we imported the data correctly into Teamcenter as new data. But now we want to export the data. We want to send it to a supplier, to a partner company. That's why we now switch to our next agenda point, exporting the data we have in Teamcenter. So let's switch back to COMPDM, export data with COMPDM. Yes, and now select the ID. So I can just search for D1. We imported it with the prepend. Let's find the root one. Here it is. And now I want another prepend for the export for the file names. For example, I want to say it's for my partner company XY, and I'm going to rename the files in that way. I could also put some additional attributes like the item ID in the next files, but for the demonstration I think it's enough for the changing the file name. Here in the next view we see the file name is back with the prepend. And now the interesting thing is to export it without destroying the structure, right? So if you rename some NX parts on disk, the structure is broken. But here we open an NX session in the background and we do the renaming within an NX session. It's already finished. We see the third green one. We will download the data. Let's put it somewhere just on desktop. Move it to the right screen. Where is it? Here it should, yeah, there it is. So now we are going to change the data in next. We will change a single part. So this is point of view of the supplier company, let's say. Got the data, got the zip package, and an engineer opens the assembly and modifies just one, or in different use cases, let's say multiple ones, but we will just modify one. Let me open the root one. Takes a moment until NX opens up. So here we, in the left, we see all the structure without any broken links with the partner XY in front. This is what we wanted to make clear on disk. This is for the partner company. So which part can we change? I think I'm gonna just select one here this, for example. Okay, I'm going to open it in a new window. Here it is. And change, for example, the color. To COMPDM orange, for example. And maybe also change some properties. For example, we say it's a new revision. And now we want also a description of our change. Description. It's orange now. We save it. Okay, now we will get the package back to our company and we want to import it again in Teamcenter. We don't know which parts changed, but COMPDM will detect this for us. So we have, we have here the files. And now I go to import again. Select the root file. Select with renaming. So I don't want the partner XY in front. I want to remove it. Here is the same. This is pre-configured. We don't want any prepend this time. So now COMPDM checks the data, renames the data, and imports it in Teamcenter. We have now two NX ones, so the second one is after the renaming, and the third tab is how it will look in Teamcenter. COMPDM already detected, we have a new revision here, and in NX we have also the description. I made it orange. Yes, in the Teamcenter tab it's highlighted because COMPDM checked what is the current state in Teamcenter and it knows A, and there's no description. So let's confirm it. Write it. Let's wait a moment. On the right side we see also the information. Incoming version is newer and the dataset is a new one. This takes a little bit longer because of the NX session that is working in the background, but now I think NX is finished. Yes, and now it's writing into Teamcenter. Okay, finished with errors. Let's see. This is not a major error. We can leave it like this. But now a good thing, you see different colors. This is not a critical error. It's now orange. There's also a red, but this is only orange. Let's move back to Teamcenter and see how the data looks now with the update. In COMPDM we say reconciliation. So we have the new part here. The preview is there, but I think the preview is without any color. So don't worry, it's orange. Yeah, here the preview is also not orange. I think it's just without any colors. The description made it to Teamcenter, and you also see revision B. So this is exactly what we wanted. And let's go to the root one. So we can open it and open it also in NX to see whether our change made it, let's say the change of the engineer made it to our company. While NX is loading, we see the structure here on the left, the new B revision. Okay, all links found again, and we have our orange part. Perfect. Exactly like we wanted it. So, that's it. If you have any questions about COMPDM, a PLM system, data exchange with PLM system, feel free to ask my colleagues now. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks, Tim, for this video. So to have a look on the clock, I was a little bit too yeah, too lazy in the beginning, so I had to speed up now a little bit because we are having still some points to talk about. As I mentioned, I wanted to talk about right now about some customer references and partners. As you can see on the slide here, COMPDM is
Olaf,
in productive. Yeah.
can you start sharing the slides again? There's disconnected because of the video sharing.
Okay. Then, but the button to share is it's hidden.
You can jump with Alt Tab to the control panel.
No. I'm in the control panel, but I see myself. But the
Oh,
button
okay.
to share is it's hidden. It's
Yeah,
grayed out. So you have to. It says you have to name me to a moderator. Yeah,
there we
exactly.
go.
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
Okay,
There we go.
you can see. Okay, that's it. Then okay, yeah, partners and customer references. As you can see, COMPDM is in productive use mainly in the aerospace and automotive industry. But that's not the limit. We are not limited to those areas. We are also in other industries in use. Um, in all industries where we where the necessity is to exchange PDM and CAD data. Together with our partners, you can see on the right side, like Rocket Software and Mixer, Razorleaf, Aras, Valexcon. We are really happy to support you in the use cases mentioned before, and of course, especially in this data exchange use case. And yeah, you can see here on the left side an excerpt of our customers, mainly automotive industry like Yanfeng, ZF, Gestamp, EAC. In the aerospace industry, Gulfstream, Airbus, Leonardo Daher, and so on. So we are our product is running in a lot of companies, very smooth, without errors, and yeah, with our partners, we help you to set up your project. Then we have yeah an example for the base data exchange at Yanfeng or other companies, especially Yanfeng, I mentioned here because on the 10th of July we have our third webinar where Mr. Eligiers from Yanfeng gives us an insight how they set up their production with COMPDM and Rocketry Fusion Enterprise, and would be very interesting. So don't miss that. I think more insights in the configuration and the setup you will learn in that webinar. I would like more to give you a short overview then in the implementation approach, how we start normally with US customers. We have here the first contact. After our first contact, you can download our software from our webpage. You got a free trial license for 1 month, and you got a support from us with maximum 8 hours, 1 day. And in that period, we help you to install COMPDM on your system, to connect to a PLM system, to define first representations or first exchange methods for import or export. In the second step, oh, sorry, wrong way. No, this is the wrong way. Sorry. So in the second step, to use the trial license, and maybe you have a bigger project than only one representation, maybe or one import. You can book a rapid prototyping or proof of concept by us on a time and material basis. Or you can optionally book a user training that empowers your team to handle COMPDM by your own. This is what we normally do is a proof of concept, which we help you for the first, let's say, start in your project, or it depends on the scope, also do the complete project. Let's say it's not the complete project, then after this period of trial, you have to choose whether you rent the license for COMPDM or to purchase the license or to stop using COMPDM. It's your choice. If you decide for COMPDM, we can help you there also with a project support to finish your project, or at least in the long term use to support you by normal activities where you have I don't know, lack in resources, or you need further helps why you want to enhance your project or whatever. So this is the normal way of life, and yeah, just contact us and we can arrange some meetings to discuss that with you. At the end, I would like also to present you the license model. Short way on the left side, you see the license model. It starts with the COMPDM Standard Edition. It's a standard license. This includes one CAD module of your choice and one PLM module of your choice. The models, available models, you can see on the right side, plus a user package. So there we have user package from 5 user, 10 user, up to 2,500 users. Optionally, it depends also on the complexity of your project or your production. There are additional CAD modules plus user specific user packages, additional PLM modules with user packages. If you dealing with a long-term archiving, for sure the image master module with user packages. Then for the data exchange, if you want the seamless end-to-end solution, the TFE module, the Autodoc module for your documentation, or a secondary COMPDM server for load balancing, or a non-productive COMPDM server for a separated development, integration, or test environment. Okay, so this is more or less the license model. Maybe you can you have some questions, then we can use then we can handle these questions then now in the Q&A session. And I would like to hand over to Petra. Maybe if there are some questions in the chat, I don't know if there are some
Yes, we do
questions in
have
the
questions.
chat.
We received some questions. Maybe Francois comes as well. But yeah, I will just read the first one, and then you can see who of you both will answer the question. So I think the question came in during the demo part. Can we integrate the tool in Team Center instead of web login?
Yes, some of our clients actually did that. You can call the COMPDM via batch files, or some people had, some clients had created some customization in Team Center and actually called COMPDM as a batch file.
Okay, thank you very much. And one more question to, well, it came quite to the similar time. While exporting the data outside TZ, can we beforehand put some logic layering and export data according to customer standard norm or nomenclature?
Yeah, of course. It's during the mapping you can add new properties, custom properties. You can rename the files. You can remove properties. You can actually remove some parts. You can highly customize your exports and imports as well.
All right, thank you very much. I think we will maybe pick one more question, and if we haven't had the chance to answer all of your questions, then we will come back to you after the webinar, obviously. So let me see. Does Rocket True Fusion also support CATIA, NX, and SolidWorks?
It should be, yes. I say yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, quick and easy. And how about Altium?
Altium.
Maybe with our legacy to import to export, but legacy model to connect, but as an import we don't support this.
All right. Thank you for answering. In the next webinar, as I teased at the beginning, this is the starting point of a webinar series. So we have 2 more webinars coming up. So in the second webinar, we will have a Rocket True Fusion with us as well. And we will see a demo again together with Rocket True Fusion. I don't know, maybe all of you want to say a few words about that, or I can teaser the webinar 3 as well, which will take place. The second webinar will take place on the 8th of July. So if you already registered for this webinar, your registration will stay for the other webinars as well. Just make sure you don't miss them. And the third webinar will be on July 10th, and that will be about the success story of Yangfeng. Yeah, lessons learned from the field use case. Do you want to add something to that, Olaf?
No, you said quite everything. I mentioned it before in my during my slides that Yanfeng, we see how it is set up there and what's the KPIs there and what's the advantages there, what's the lessons learned there, and in the second webinar as well together with the Rocket guys. Yeah, we see how the data exchange with Rocket True Fusion can work and how we can set up and configure it. And yeah, it would be also very, very interesting.
So take the chance, don't miss the chance to ask those experts
Right.
as well your questions. come in and listen to what they have to say. I'm looking forward to next week to those 2 webinars. Thank you very much, Olaf and François, for attending this session, and for the colleague who wasn't there for the recording. That worked well. I hope you have a good time, and I hope to see all of you next week again. So enjoy, and
Yeah,
see you
also
then.
from my side, thank you for your patience. Thank you for attending the webinar, and see you next time in the next week in the next webinar. Yeah.